I'm Matthew Jarek, and this is my final project, learning race through rap. We'll get started with the project overview. This project aims to dissect the racial and systematic issues embedded within modern rap music and present them in a way that is dissectable to the general audience. I will be teaching class concepts through contemporary rap by analyzing the hidden meaning in this rap and dissecting lyrics. The analysis will bridge the gap between a casual listener and someone who's critically engaged in the music and really trying to understand these layers. Lauren Kajikawa, professor at George Washington University, in his book Sounding Race and Rap Songs, talks about the universality of rap. From its early creation in Brooklyn, rap music has been deeply infused into African American and Latino culture before rapidly spreading across the globe into countries like Korea, Japan, France, Jamaica, and everywhere across the globe we're seeing contemporary rap music. In the Journal of Sociological Inquiry, Schaap and Koster discuss the identity of rap and its presentness in African American culture. This makes rap and the storytelling within it the perfect medium to reach the most amount of people. With that, let's jump into our first song, Tie My Hands by Lil Wayne and Robin Thicke.
He means it's over, soldier. From the Academy League of Rollers, I deny being down, though they seem to hold us. My shoulders are strong, I prove them wrong. I ain't doing nothing but moving on.
Released in 2008 as a part of an 8 times RIAA Platinum and Grammy Award-winning album, The Carter 3, an absolute classic and arguably a top 10 greatest rap album of all time if you engage in rap discourse. This song discusses meritocracy as a myth and equality versus equity.
Just jealous, we don't reach the sky no more, we just can't overcome more.
In this track, Lil Wayne rejects the idea of a meritocracy with lyrics like, I deny being down, though they seem to hold us, or no one's gonna fight alone, no one's gonna save us now, we don't reach the sky no more, we just cannot overcome, you tie my hands, specifically mentioning Hurricane Katrina and the effects of that on the New Orleans community. Diving into class concepts, meritocracy as a myth can be understood as equality versus equity. Through statute, there is an equality between races with Title VII and the Civil Rights Act. However, we are still seeing the effects of the lack of equity. The paradox of meritocracy exists in the belief of a level playing field where privilege is masked and bias is increased. Inequity is framed as fair because statutorily everyone has equal opportunity. However, and as outlined by Phillips and Lowry, notes that white individuals in meritocratic systems might deny systemic racism and privilege by emphasizing personal effort. This leads the top to stay on the top and the people on the bottom to stay suppressed, typically minority. Tie My Hands outlines this as not only an organizational issue, but a problem with society at large. So how else can we think about this? Just like the image on the screen, we need to provide a stepping stool for those who need it, and this can come in the form of affirmative action, a right that we see being stripped away today. Just by being an active listener and hearing what Wayne is talking about in the song, we can understand the importance of vouching for the necessary tools and being an active listener, not only to the song, but in our community and in our daily lives. Next, let's move on to I'm Not Racist by Joyner Lucas. Now, this song is a little bit abrasive, some may say, as some of our readings were, but just had a heed of warning about the music video. It is all Joyner Lucas is saying, and this is an argument between two individuals that we might see play out today. Also, I apologize for the strong language, but I think for the nature of this course and understanding the issues today, I think it is applicable. So just content warning ahead.
With all due respect, I don't have pity for you black niggas. That's the way I feel. Screaming Black Lives Matter, all the black guys rather be deadbeats than pay your bills. Yelling nigga this and nigga that. Call everybody nigga and get a nigga mad. As soon as I say nigga, then everyone react and wanna swing at me and call me racist cause I ain't black. With all disrespect, I don't really like you white motherfuckers, that's just where I'm at. Screaming all lives matter is a protest to my protest. What kind of shit is that? And that's one war you'll never win. The power in the word nigga is a different sin. We shouldn't say it, but we do, and that's just what it is. But that don't mean that you can say it just cause you got nigga friends. Nigga. That word was originated for you to keep us under. And when we use it, we know that's just how we greet each other. And when you use it, we...
Now, just from those two snippets, it's obvious that this song sent absolute shockwaves throughout the internet. Released in 2017, the song is a perfect vessel to touch on the teachings of Oluo and how really to discuss race and how to be mindful of what we're doing. Though abrasive, this choice by Joyner Lucas was clearly indicative of an extreme conversation that might happen today. The extremeness of these portrayals is intentional, and it's supposed to teach us to better educate ourselves and to make sure both sides are heard, particularly the one with a weaker microphone. Obviously, this track touches on stereotype, prejudice, and discrimination on both sides from both parties, but the more important aspect here is really how we should communicate to each other. In So You Want to Talk About Race by Oluo, she describes the process of approaching these sensitive issues. But the most important is to prioritize the core issue and to really just be educated about what we're saying. Furthermore, it's to emphasize unity and the fact that we should be together. When met with discomfort, it's important not to be defensive or, in this case, go on the attack, but rather to understand that we're all people and we should all strive to be better together. The end of this music video emphasizes it perfectly as Joyner Lucas intended, and it's that despite all our differences, despite the brute words that were said, despite the discomfort and the tensions that were felt, both were able to hug it out and move past it together. Here's the clip. A casual listener to Joyner Lucas might not really care about issues like this, but stumbling on to a song like this in his discography yields a great opportunity to get out of the rhythms and really put a listening ear to the issues of today. Next, we'll move on to a recent track, but one that really encompassed a tragedy of the nation and was put into the national spotlight.
Protests and growing national outcries continue over the death of George Floyd.
Last night, people protesting in Minneapolis escalated as demonstrators were lashed by tear gas and rubber bullets.
The main message here is that they want to see those officers involved.
They want to see those officers arrested.
It obviously does not take a critical listener to understand that the song is about the murder of George Floyd and police brutality as a whole. Instead, what I want people to get out of this as listeners is to think about herd invisibility and how race is in fact ingrained into daily life and almost everything that we do, as well as the fact that this song is intended as a call to action and to start friction between System 1 and System 2 thinking. What you're going to hear from Dominique Jones in the chorus, better known as Lil Baby, is the fact that it's up to everyone and herd invisibility is a real problem. In society, privilege is masked, and it's easy for the common person to say, well, I'm not racist, so I'm not part of the problem. This is a culmination of everything that we've talked about so far. Being able to communicate with others, not distancing yourself from privilege and reframing it as merit, not claiming separation from the issue or innocence, and not stifling dialogue by the backlash that was received by this song. To break herd invisibility, we have to actively start shifting norms and take action to dismantle privilege, not only individually, but also in the systemic level with our politicians and voting. Here's the call to action.
It's a problem with the whole way of life. It can't change overnight. But we gotta start somewhere. Might as well go ahead, start here. We done had a hell of a year. I'ma make it count while I'm here. God is the only man I fear.
System 1 thinking is very reactionary and emotionally driven, while System 2 is when you tell yourself to stop, think for a second about what you're gonna say next. Releasing this song in 2020, directly following the murder of George Floyd, really showed the discrepancies in the way that people perceive music like this. On one hand, there was the instant criticism and backlash for the song, emotionally driven System 1 thinking, but on the other hand, the song allows for an opportunity to really engage, think about the words that he's saying, and think about the issues from the core that the song talks about. Lil Baby shares personal anecdotes from his own life, describing people he's lost and violence that he's seen firsthand. He encourages people that now is the time to take action, now is the time to go vote and make things the way they should be. The song is all about remembering the past and thinking forward, making sure that friction is there moving forward, being able to discuss these issues, as Oluo said, being able to talk about hurt invisibility and fight it, as Phillips and Lowry said, being able to talk about the need for equality and equity, just as Lil Wayne said. It's terrible that society needs events like the murder of George Floyd to be impetus for the big waves of change that now have sadly turned into ripples since his death. So touching back for the purpose of this project, something as simple as just encouraging System 1 and System 2 thinking. Next time you're listening to music, instead of just thinking about these beats, don't approach it as a casual listener. These songs were obviously hand-selected to be easy to understand and approachable, even if abrasive like Joyner Lucas's was. However, there's tons and tons of music out there, tons of discographies filled with stories in rap and hip hop that's accessible to everyone, and frankly a genre that's easy to listen to and a lot of people enjoy. A way to combat these issues is simply just to be conscientious of them. So next time you're listening to a project, I recommend, I think Mr. Morale and The Big Steppers by Kendrick Lamar is a really great project. But just go out and listen critically and deeply and think about these issues. This can incur change in your daily life and change the way you think about certain things. Music not only provides us perspectives of people who aren't us and lets us step into their shoes, but it really is an emotional form of art, and it lets you resonate with other people in a way that's simply just not possible in any other kind of medium. So next time, before clicking shuffle on Spotify or Apple Music, just put your listening cap on and really try to tackle the meanings under these songs. Thank you very much. This has been a wonderful semester, and I'm glad to have learned everything that I did.